So, as you guys know, last year Insomniac said that Miles was going to be the main Spider-Man for their universe, and it caused a lot of people to act like the writers basically said playing some golf. And it caused a lot of people to say that Miles isn't Spider-Man and that he needs to go to another city and that he needs his own original villains, which he already has some of his own original villains, and I'm not including the game. He has Hobgoblin, Prowler, and Rabble, just to name a couple, and he also has his own version of Venom. Now, for him moving to another city, that would not work because it already has worked with Superior Spider-Man with him moving to San Francisco. And Miles is not Nightwing because the reason why Dick Grayson didn't want to be Robin anymore and why he changed his name to Nightwing was because of the fact that he was leading the Teen Titans and decided to do that on his own. The next thing is that if we aren't going to keep that exact same energy for Batman, because if Terry McGinnis, who is Batman Beyond, has a similar story to Miles, because when Terry first became Batman Beyond, he wanted to get revenge on the person that killed his father. And in Marvel Spider-Man 2, we see Miles try to do the exact same thing to Mr. Negative. So their stories do mirror each other. Now, for the most iconic villains, I feel is where we have a problem, and this is where I feel like people are blowing it out of proportion, in my opinion. Because as we know, in Marvel Spider-Man 3, Miles is most likely going to be fighting Green Goblin, and people are going to be wondering why is he fighting Green Goblin when he's a Peter villain. Now, the same thing can technically also be applied to Joker, who is a Bruce Wayne villain, and people are asking why is Terry fighting Joker. Now, they each already have a connection set up because Joker could tell the difference and knew that Bruce wasn't in the suit based on the fact that he knew that it wasn't. And two, Terry's size. And for Miles, it's the same thing for the fact that based on his height and his power set as well as the costume. So Goblin's going to be easily able to tell the difference. Along with that, even in Marvel Spider-Man 2, Venom's connection with Miles was already set up when he helped Peter get Venom off of him. So it would be easy to tell the difference once Goblin comes up. And as well as for the fact that it was also easy for Venom. Now, another thing is that they are both taught by the OGs themselves on how to be a better version of the character. Now, for Terry, it was for the fact that he had to rely on his own fighting skills, and along with that, he also had Bruce and his comps helping him out. Now, for Miles, Peter taught him how to fight in the first game when he was fighting the Raft inmates, and in the Silver Lining DLC, Peter trained Miles throughout the last couple of games. Now, this next point is that they both saved their mentors. For Miles, it was saving Peter from Venom's hold over him, and for Terry, it was saving Bruce when he was infected with the Joker's venom. Now, this next one that I want to talk about is that they are both effective in battle in their own ways. For Miles, while Peter has better stats all around, Miles is also very effective, which we do see in the game since he knows that Sandman is weak to heat and he was able to turn parts of his body into chunks of marble. Terry is also just as effective when he throws ink with the cold gun, which is the closest comparison that I could get, as well as since this can also be applied to how smart they are as well, due to the fact that both Sandman and Ink pretty much have Pokemon based weaknesses. So if you combine Terry being trained by Bruce and Miles being trained by Peter, and how similar each of their stories are, this whole entire argument doesn't make sense because when you say Peter is Spider-Man and Miles isn't, I believe the same rules should go for when you say Bruce Wayne is Batman and Terry McGinnis isn't Batman. Now, this next section is basically just going to be focused on people calling Miles a Gary Stu and that they nerfed Peter just to show that Miles is better. Now, for those of you guys who don't know the definition of Gary Stu, it's basically the male version of Mary Sue, which means that he has no character flaws and is overall the perfect character. Now, this is basically pointed out in a few sections of the game, such as the stuff leading into the Peter boss fight, as well as his rounds with Venom. Now, the first one I've heard is that Miles should not have been there and it should have been Peter to come to his senses and ring the bell himself. First off, if Miles wasn't there, Peter would have not gone for the bell and he would have killed Craven and went and destroyed the city. Plus, not to mention that at this point in the game, Venom was taking control over Peter's mind. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that after he killed Craven, he definitely would have not rung the bell. As well as Miles saw that Peter was about to break his no-kill rule and had to step in. As well as in the fight with Peter, we hear Peter say that he thinks that Miles is better than him, and Miles says that he's not saying that. That's Venom making him say that. Now, for the Venom boss fight, which is where a lot of people are saying that it doesn't make any sense why he's fighting Venom at the end, and it is because of the fact that Venom knows that Miles got him off of Peter. So to the people that are saying that there was no connection between Miles and Venom, I don't know what you guys are talking about because the same thing can also be said for Terry's connection to the Joker, which again is because of Bruce. But yeah, if people are going to say that Miles isn't Spider-Man, the same thing should be said for Terry McGinnis. So with the points you just made, I think it makes a lot of sense. So and yeah,